Well, we've had a bit of a tradition with our next guest. It seems like we've had him on, I think, every year of his career at Johns Hopkins. But we've never been able to talk about anything quite like this with him before. If you missed it from Saturday in their win over Maryland, he did something really wild.
Of a lefty shooter uses that to his advantage. He catches the ball here, thick shot right there. He gets the defense off the line and then shoots that with his right hand. That is his offhand, but most Canadians bottom hand dominant.
Now, Matt Collison, and that, by the way, courtesy of ESPNU. Tell me, because I know Canadians are the craftiest players on the face of the planet because you all played in tight spaces for your entire life. But there is no way that you have ever drawn that up before or thought about it. I don't believe that was anything other than, oh, my God, the stick just came out of my hand, and look at how it worked out for me.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely wasn't the plan. That wasn't plan A going to the net. I think you see it there, number 8, Eric Kohler hit me pretty good, knocked me off my balance, kind of, took my left hand off to somewhat regain it, and then realized I was a little too close to the net, so I just, had to get something off, and, that was the result. So it wasn't pretty.
First of all, congratulations. Thank you for taking the time for us. It's always.
Yeah, of course.
What is the, what are the rules for when it's not the intent? Do you, in baseball, somebody might have, a check swing base hit, right? And, they'll have almost, an apology for it. When it's not the intent, is it still, I don't care, it's a goal. I'm celebrating like it's the greatest, low to high shot I've ever had in my life. Or is there a little bit of, I don't know if I'm allowed to celebrate this one quite as much?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't intend to do that. I didn't intend to launch my stick at the goal, but I honestly didn't know what they were going to call. There's been some controversy
right.
with it, so
Right.
I didn't know if I should start celebrating or if I should start get back on defense or if I got a penalty or anything. But they ended up calling it a goal, so. Goal's a goal. They all count the same.
That's a fact. And so the controversy is based on the way the rule's written. But I feel like the way it's written is if the stick ends up in the net too, then it's not a goal. And the stick fell short of the net, right? So I feel like this was a good call based on the way the rule was written.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm biased. I think it was a great call. But we can leave that up to interpretation. Game's over, so. Whether anyone believes in it or not is
right.
Still counts. So.
Goal's a goal, babe. That's the way that it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Goal's a goal. They can't take it back now. Matt, what did it mean to you, right? This being the final, I know we say final, but obviously there is a tournament coming up, and it could very well be that there's going to be another Johns Hopkins Maryland game here in a more than a week. But for this to have been the final one at Homewood, the final one with that type of atmosphere, that raucous crowd, what does it mean to you that as a senior you close your career by beating Maryland in those circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't really write it any better. It means the world. Obviously, everything aside, that game is something special. You got to respect the history behind it, that every alum has ever gone through. And, you got to be very appreciative that you get to be a part of that history now. And, obviously Maryland being, the team they are, well coached, unreal talent up and down the lineup. Really respect them as well. So at the end of the day, it's just best on best lacrosse. It's good for the game. And, when Hopkins Maryland plays, the game grows. So it's definitely meaningful to be a part of that history, to start, but then obviously to win is another thing too, where, it had major implications for us for postseason. So, to be able to come up and test our resolve like that against a great opponent is something you can't really ask much more.
Matt, you mentioned those words, test your resolve, right? Obviously you guys, have had a couple of bumps this season. Have you ever doubted that this team was capable of making a Memorial Day weekend run? Has there ever been a moment where you're like, my gosh, we need to go? Was it important to go get a win like this to remind yourself of what this team is capable of doing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that win does a lot more, for us than just our record. I personally have never had a single doubt about this group. We love each other too much. We have too much talent up and down the field. We're, it's really just a special group. You know, we got a hot goalie right now. It seems as though it's all kind of coming together at the right time. But you know, with that being said, you know, what have you done for me lately, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we're 0-0. We got a great opponent coming up next in either Michigan or Ohio State. You know, and we're getting ready for one of those. So, um, sorry, I kind of strayed from your question there.
You're good, man. You're good. I understand everything, but everything that you're talking about, I know is what you're feeling, right? Like this is, baseball players, I feel are more like this than lacrosse players, but I know that lacrosse players are the same way. Like, I enjoy this. This was a good win. This was fun, but I'm only going to allow myself to enjoy it so much because we haven't won anything yet. Like
Yeah,
the stuff we really want to win is the next one and the Big Ten tournament and then the NCAA tournament. Like I can understand everything that you're feeling right now,
yeah,
man.
yeah. Well, that is the case, right? It's we do have to move on. Like I said, it was a great win. It was a great game. Again, all the respect to them. They're a phenomenal team. So, like I said, we were happy, but we're back to practice now.
I understand everything about that. Matt Collison is with us here on GCR. Matt, I want to talk through I know right now the priority is Hopkins, but you get to have a draft night. I actually want to do this math, right? Like growing up, had you even think that I might have a draft night in my life? Like there might be a chance for me to get together with my buddies and celebrate. Like that only became a reality in the last couple of years. Was that something that you ever thought about when you were a kid?
No, never. You know, and it really only came to reality in the last couple of weeks, I guess. I'm, obviously super grateful for the opportunity where Coach T drafted me to Philly. So that's a great team. I'm super excited to get to know the guys first, and then obviously to play with some of the guys on that team is I've always kind of thought about. Um, so that's first and foremost, I'm just so grateful for the opportunity there. But second, yeah, it is kind of a weird feeling, right? Like it's you never really thought of it as a kid. You kind of were
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, like I always want to play pro, but like you never just like kind of thought about like what goes into that and how cool it would be to be there with all like my friends. You're always just like, yeah, like, I just want to play in the league. But like all the stuff leading up to it as well is just awesome. Like getting to talk to all the coaches, getting your teammates to tease you at practice and kind of chirp you and whatnot and make sure, your head's staying on the earth. But no, it's all been great. It's been really cool. But like you said, it's been kind of tough to really kind of put in perspective just quite yet, just because we have so much more here.
I get
At
that.
Hopkins to go.
I get that. But hang on, I do want to have two follow-ups though. One, do you know what a water dog is?
I mean, I know what Portuguese water dog is.
All
I don't
right, there
know.
we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Two, far more serious. You're about to be teammates with Mikey Sowers. Like, has that smile that like I just see on your face right now? Like, what does that mean to you? Like, you're about to be teammates with maybe the greatest player on the face of the planet right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Sowers, CJ,
Yeah.
Kieran McCardle, Gavin Adler, like all those guys. Zach Courier. It's up and down the lineup is crazy, crazy talent that I've grown up like idolizing, watching, trying to emulate the best I can. But to your point, like playing with a guy like Sowers is something really cool. I never got to play against him or play in the NCAA at the same time as him. I think I missed him by a year, but obviously like going throughout high school, watching his highlights, doing, seeing whatever he did that weekend. But no, I'm so excited to be able to kind of learn from those guys and you know take pieces that I can from their game. I don't necessarily know if I can move like Michael Sowers,
I don't know that anybody can. He's an alien.
but just to ask those guys questions, pick their brains. I'm just super excited to kind of sit back and watch.
That's really cool, man. I know that that's not the only. I know obviously, like any good Canadian, the PLL is a big deal, and playing in the indoor game is important. But I'm told that like maybe you've got another part of your future already perhaps lined up. You have a job. You started thinking about.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still working through the interview process for a couple of things, but I got my first job offer. Yeah,
Really,
yeah, from a private wealth management firm out in Long Island.
dude,
So
that's cool, man.
yeah,
That's
it's cool. It's nice. It's nice to be able to have because that's I've always wanted to at the same time like work and have another income, but they're super supportive of me playing pro as well. So that was that
that's
went into
awesome. That's
went into
awesome.
major decisions. So. It was great. It was awesome. It was nice to kind of get that weight off your chest too, where you don't really have to pick like one or the other. You can kind of have both. So it's been great.
Congratulations, Matt. That's
Thank
really,
you.
really cool,
Thank you.
man.
Appreciate it.
Let's talk about it because I know that there's probably a lot of alums that have reminded you that it's been over a decade since there's been a Memorial Day weekend appearance for Johns Hopkins, and that's not the way it's supposed to be at Johns Hopkins. It's supposed to be a birthright to be playing there. How important is that for you, right? Like now as a senior to say we want to be the team that got things back the right way, and I want that to be part of my legacy. Like the All Americans been amazing, but how much is it like that you take it upon yourself? I want my legacy to include getting us back into the Final Four in the place where Johns Hopkins lacrosse is supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. Obviously, it's super important. Success as a whole, when you break it down to it, is the most important thing, especially being a senior. That's really all like you can tolerate, right? Obviously, up and down the lineup, I think we have guys that only tolerate success, yes, but no one really feels it quite like us just because, we can kind of see the finish line. With that being said, I don't necessarily think, me personally, I don't necessarily think about the Final Four all that much. I don't want to look ahead just because I don't want to take for granted the time I have here with my guys and, the little things, right? Like going to get some dinners, like hanging out, doing stuff away from lacrosse. Like I don't want to completely envelop myself, and miss that, right? Because those are the moments that you're going to remember forever. Now, at the same time, that success, is part of that as well. So I think just taking it week by week, practice by practice, pass by pass. Like I said, not taking that for granted either, and then, just preparing yourself as if every single weekend is the national championship and going out there competing like it. And if they say you have another game, then you have another game. So
I appreciate it. I
yeah.
appreciate it, man. That even keel. It's very. I know it's important for an athlete to remain that even keel, and I appreciate that about you. I don't actually know the answer. Do you guys still do Sammys the night before games? Is that
Yeah, of
okay?
course. Of course.
What is the order for you at Sammy's night before a game?
Okay, so we do senior speech before every home or before every game, but
Okay.
the seniors who are lucky enough to go before a home game, um, uh, get to pick the Sammy's menu.
Oh.
So I went before our Penn State game, and so my menu was to start. It was sausage and peppers and calamari,
Okay. It's
and then
not a bad start. I could just make that my meal, by the way. Like I'd be good with that.
and then the two pastas I got vodka rigatoni and carbonara, and then I got chicken parms for the boys, and I got this item that's named after Sammy's, I believe, mom and sister, called the Chicken Tony and Tina.
Oh, I don't even.
It's a chicken cutlet with kind of like crab spinach cream sauce all over it.
Damn, that sounds good. Oh
Oh,
my,
no.
that sounds so good, man.
Yeah, and then we did cannolis for dessert.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
now. Wait a second. Do you guys like rank the meal? Is there like a unofficial power ranking with the
uh
underclassmen of like
no,
who's?
I mean, no, there's no ranking. Mine's clearly the best, but um
You don't need anybody to fortify that. You
no, no.
don't need anybody.
Yeah, obviously like the boys give their opinions after the meals and whatnot, and if someone didn't like something, they're gonna let you hear about it.
I was. Has there been an unpopular choice at any point? Like,
Not really, man. Not really. Sammy's is like I'd put that menu up against anything. So I wouldn't say there's anything that I personally don't like, but some guys have weird taste buds and just don't appreciate it.
yeah,
I
bro,
would assume.
bro, you get to have a night before game at Sammy's. Like, calm down, man.
Yeah.
Like,
So
understand.
it's unreal, and Sammy's so good to us, and
Yeah.
he's done this forever, and he's gone through a coaching change, and he's still worked with us, and he's the greatest. His kids are the greatest. He's world class. I can't say enough good things about him.
That's awesome, man. I hear you're kind of a bit of a chef as well yourself.
Yeah. I consider myself humbly the best chef on the
All right,
globe.
what's your specialty? Like, if you were making the night before meal for the boys, what would be the specialty?
I mean, the boys like when I make pasta. We do a pretty good Cajun chicken Alfredo. That's always well received. We do a little like vodka bolognese.
Not bad, man. Not bad.
Um, but yeah, no, whenever in the summertime too, like we can like fire up the grills or get the stove going and just make a bunch of steaks and whatnot. But it's all pretty community food, right? Like we have like we all live pretty much on the same block, so it ends up being like 12 guys in the same house
Oh,
or
that's cool, man. That's
starts
cool.
getting yeah, the numbers start getting up there.
The vibe. That's awesome, man. Like I can when you bring up how close the team is and like the bonding part of it. That's incredible, man. What a cool
Yeah,
feeling
yeah,
that is
it's
for
really
you.
something special. It's a great group.
What would it mean if you are named an All-American again this season? You'll become the first 4-time All-American since some guy named Paul Rabel, who I think people are familiar with.
Yeah.
What would it mean to be in that company?
I mean everything. I mean, it's something that, is kind of hard for me to kind of quantify in my head just because I've never really, thought that that was a reality. It's definitely very humbling. Watching those guys growing up, kind of like I said, idolizing them, and you know, the first field lacrosse game I saw was a Hopkins game. So, being able to, kind of be talked about in the same breath as those guys, it feels almost uncomfortable for me to say, but it's definitely something that I don't take for granted, and um, something that's super super special, and I'm very lucky.
It's awesome, man. Matt Collison. Look, man. However you score him, like may there be even a more incredible highlight perhaps coming before this season is over, because that one was a fun one on Saturday. Best of luck to you guys moving forward the rest of the way. Always appreciate you taking the time for us, and hopefully the next time we're chatting with you, we're celebrating maybe an even bigger accomplishment for you guys. Thank you so much for doing this morning, as always, man.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.